Hello everyone and welcome to a book haul. These ones are all ebooks and these ones are all at some point that I got for free on Amazon. And these are books and authors I've never heard of before, so I wanted to put these authors out there and these titles out there, see if any of you have read the books, what you thought of them. And when I downloaded these books, I never read the synopsis, so I'm finding out right now, one, if they're part of a series, if they're young adult, or whatever it is, and number three, what the heck they're even about. Will I remember all of that by the time I actually get to the book? No. But it puts it just a little bit more on my radar, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, these are all science fiction. So for all you sci-fi lovers out there, you may like this. I do like sci-fi, and I wish every time I read sci-fi, I love it. I read more fantasy than I do science fiction, and I read more dystopian, apocalyptic, romance, and horror, but I really like sci-fi. Every time I read it, I just don't pick it up as often as I would like. So let's go ahead and get into this. Book number one is Solaris Seethes. This is written by Janet McNulty, and this is book number one in the Solaris saga. This has not great rating on Goodreads. I don't remember the last time I saw one this low. It has 384 ratings with a 2.98. Usually I see maybe a 3.2 is the lowest. This is pretty low. So, but just because a lot of people hate the book doesn't mean that I'll hate it too. But we'll see. We shall see. Let's see. It does say this is also, so this is a hybrid genre because it does say, it also has the tag of fantasy, and it says that this is a young adult. The cover that I am seeing on Goodreads, which I'm hoping is the one that I find in insert, it makes me think of The Sims because it has that green diamond on it, and my mind is immediately going to The Sims. It says for those who like Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Force, or Dune, after escaping the destruction of her home planet, Lanier, with the help of the mysterious Solaris, Rania must put her faith in an ancient legend. Never one to believe in stories and legends, she is forced to follow the ancient tales of her tales that also seem to predict her current situation. I am not sure what the heck that means. The rest of the synopsis says, forced to unite with four unlikely heroes from an unknown planet, the philosopher, the warrior, the lover, the inventor, in order to save the Lanuran people, Rania and Solaris embark on an adventure that will shatter everything Rania once believed. Okay. Next up, I have Extinction Pulse. It says this is an EMP post-apocalyptic thriller series. But this, when I did get this, it was tagged as a science fiction. So, post-apocalyptic, a sci-fi post-apocalyptic. This is book number one in the Nightfall series, written by Kevin Partner. 241 ratings with a 4.17. Much better number. Even though it has less ratings, it's a much better average rating compared to the other one. It does say this is a book of... the Nightfall series is 6 books. So I like it when Goodreads says how many books are in the series. So, especially if the series is completed, where it says this particular one is book 1 of 6, that makes me think it's completed. No additional genre tags. Nothing will stop this father from finding his daughter. Not even the end of the world. Detective Elijah Wade is on the trail of a serial killer when the skies above Los Angeles erupt into the most spectacular light show humanity has ever seen, and the most deadly. His daughter is in a hospital bed on the other side of the continent, but where does his duty lie now? To her, to justice, or to his species? Conundrum. My mind immediately says, it's your daughter. But she's... yeah. You'd want to help the people around you. I don't know. That's got to be a tough situation. Definitely if the daughter was in the same area as him, I would say definitely the daughter, 100%. But where she's clear across on the other side of the continent, it would still be her, and maybe he would do his best to get there, but help people along the way. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm curious. Astronomer Hannah Redmond watches as her colleagues die one by one, victims of a lethal dose of radiation. Can she survive long enough to discover what's caused the catastrophe and whether it will happen again? Two sisters arrive at the family cabin deep in the woods for a gathering that never happens. An old woman finds she's not quite as prepared for the end of the world as she thought, and a Mennonite couple remain true to their faith, even as the Great Tribulation unfolds around them. Each of these unique viewpoints has a part to play as the series unfolds. Mankind is on its knees, and the clock is ticking. The Prometheus Prophecy, it does say this is dystopian, by D.F. Wink. This has 75 ratings with a 3.84 average. So a dystopian sci-fi or sci-fi dystopian, I'm not sure which one it's going to lean more towards. He lost her to the regime's oppressive grip. Now he's willing to let the world burn to get her back. After global war and endless chaos, an iron-fisted totalitarian regime now governs society from the elite inner cities to the impoverished outer areas. Memories are clouded, history erased, and all dissent crushed. Wonder if something like that could happen in the future, and it would not surprise me. Adama, a young doctor disillusioned with the system, finds hope stirred by the return of Rahab, his radical former lover, who reappears as part of a brewing uprising. But when she is captured and sent to an inhumane lab camp, Adama embraces his own destiny. He journeys to find the village of secret knowledge and forge a network of rebels under the banner of the Fiery Cross, risking everything to infiltrate Rahab's prison and spark revolution. However, the regime wields terrifying technological powers to preserve its vision of order, and as violence threatens to corrupt the resistance from within, Adama faces impossible choices. Will innocent blood be the cost of change? It says, perfect for fans of the Hunger Games, I love the Hunger Games, and Ready Player One, which I have not read but want to. So, okay, that sounds good. I'm definitely intrigued by that. So, Displaced by Stephen Drake. This has 1,193 ratings with a 4.12 average. And this is book number 1 in the Displaced series. And fantasy and dystopia are the other two tags. You know, I'm going to start open link in new tab. I want to see how many books are in this series. It says there are 3. And the last book was released, I don't know, it doesn't give me a date. So, but there's 3 books, so at least we know as of right now it's a trilogy. I don't know if it'll be longer or what. When Kevin Murdoch, martial artist and outdoorsman extraordinaire, is revived from suspended animation aboard a transport pod, he and his 9 fellow occupants have no idea what to expect. Murdoch argues for caution after seeing something strange. Animals also inhabit their new environment, all of them larger than their earthly counterparts. Ew, 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 ew. My mind immediately went to spiders. Ooh. Conflict, a bigger cat, that I'm cool with. Not spiders. Ugh. Yeah. Conflict soon erupts between Murdoch and James Whittier, a politician with a lust for power and control. But soon they all realize that there's something even more dangerous on board, something that might cost them all their lives. Worms would be creepy, bigger worms, but not as bad as spiders. Oh, ew. Okay, now let's move on. Space Station Noir, written by Arthur Mayer. This is book number 1 in the Space Station Noir series. This has 64 ratings with a 4.42 average, and looks like there are 3 books in this series thus far. Additional genre tags? There are no additional genre tags, just sci-fi. As the galactic empire crumbles, Station Noir is not a safe place for humans. It's just the safest place left. Interesting. Okay. Gunny has done better than most on the station. He commits enough crime to keep credits in his pocket. He's not a slave anymore, and his alien partner has his back. Even a simple job goes wrong, and Gunny is given an opportunity he can't refuse. But it's worse than it seems, and thrusts him into the deadly world of interstellar politics. Now Gunny doesn't know what to trust except his partner and the fact that humans always lose. But losing this time might mean the end of Station Noir, death, or a return to slavery. I'm wondering if he can actually trust this partner. Evolution Commandos. But I think the main title as well of Furies, Evolution Commandos. This is written by Craig DeLancey, 396 ratings with a 3.95 average. This is book number 1 in the Predator Space Chronicles. And no additional genre tags to tell you about. It looks like there are 10... So Evolution Commandos is like the first 3 books, and then it goes to Omega Threshold, and then they're all single. Oh, see, and then, okay. Yeah. And then it's a single title, a couple single titles. But it looks like there are 7 books in this series. Okay. Optimistic, exciting space opera. Amir Tarkos is one of the only humans in the Predator Corps. Is it Corps or Corp? Corps. I think Corps. The most feared and respected military force in the galaxy. The Predators seek to prevent and punish life crimes, violations against ecosystems. With his partner Bria, a bear-like carnivore, Tarkos is given a dangerous and difficult mission. Deep space probes have located the last surviving Ulturians, a race that once waged a holy war to force competition among the ecosystems of known space, and as a result, nearly extinguished much of the life in the galaxy. Tarkos and Bria must locate the Wild Hammer, a pair of co-orbiting sunless planets that are the last refuge of Ulturians, and discover the Ulturian plans for a second attack on the Galactic Alliance. To save galactic civilization, Tarkos and Bria will have to work with a team of strange aliens and artificial intelligences, explore the perilous ruins of an ancient world, dare the depths of an ocean that engulfs a dark planet, and fight a fierce battle in the ice rings of a gas giant. Okay, here's a note. It says this is a standalone, but it is also the first third of the trilogy Evolution Commandos. In addition, it forms part of the ongoing Predator Space Chronicles, which are told in novels and short stories. So you can read it as a standalone. So it's not an official series, is what it sounds like. Okay. Mission 1 by Samuel Best. This has 2,904 ratings with a 4.15 average. This is book number 1 in the Titan Chronicles. Space opera, aliens, fantasy, and near future are the additional genre tags. As far as the series goes, it looks like there are 3 books in this series. 5 months to Titan. 4 brave crew members. 1 incredible mystery. Jeff Dolan always wanted to be an astronaut. After helping a private space company build a ship that can travel to Saturn's 6th moon in 5 months, he gets his chance. Shortly after launch, a devastating malfunction forces Jeff and the crew to make a choice: continue to Titan or go back home. As the truth of their mission unravels, One thing is clear. Someone on Earth knew about the system flaw and covered it up. Yet, surviving the journey isn't the crew's only concern. Even if they make it to Titan, they will face another problem. Something is already there. Okay. Allura, the Sisterhood Returns, written by Robert Iannone. This only has 7 ratings with a 3.86 average. So that no additional genre tags. So where it says the Sisterhood Returns, that makes me think it's probably part of a series, but I'm not seeing anything right off. So I'm not 100% positive on that. The Coven of Worlds, the organization binding all the planets in this section of the galaxy for the last millennium, is beginning to dissolve. A galactic war is becoming more and more inevitable by the day, and Ariana finds herself all but isolated. When, not if, they become a target, they have little hope of withstanding the force that will be thrown against them. However, they do have something that those other forces don't have. The newly resurrected Hamagatic Sisterhood. Okay. But the 5 young women that comprise that sisterhood have no experience. All they have is the legacy of their ancestors, the DNA of those ancestors running through their blood, and a fanatical desire to return the Hamagatic Sisterhood to its former glory. Okay. I'm not sure what I think about that one. Next is Laevium by Ruxandra Tarca. This is book number 1 in the Cerulean Airship. This has 106 ratings with a 4.25 average. Steampunk and fantasy and mystery are additional genre tags. As far as the series goes, I will have to come back to it because the page is still loading. So let's go ahead to the synopsis. It says, building Her Majesty's new airship for the engineers world gathering is no small master, especially when a groundbreaking discovery is at stake and dark secrets are lurking in the shadows. In a neo-Victorian London of mechanical horses and aerial gondotrams, airship engineer Jasper Kendall Asher has a bright future ahead as the youngest member of the Engineers Order and a secret agent in Her Majesty's service. But a terrible accident brutally changes the course of his career, sending him instead to a dull life as a mechanic among the poor of St. Giles. 3 years later, unusual circumstances give him the opportunity to return into service as the main engineer for the Queen's new airship, and a chance to uncover the truth behind the unfortunate event that changed his life. Along with an outlandish woman navigator, a reckless female agent, and his taciturn brother, Jasper resumes his work. From his work bench to London's air harbour to remote Scottish villages, he follows the trail of a scientific discovery that promises to reveal much darker plots than he initially imagined in his search for answers. Okay, so the series, it looks like there are 4. Okay, there are 3 primary works listed and a novella. So, there is a novella listed. So technically 4, but if you don't want to count the novella, then it's 3. First Shot, Gin and Tonic, book number 1. So it looks like this will be part of a series, but I don't see anything indicating, at least right now, how long the series will be. This has 7 ratings with a 3.43 average. And there are no additional genre tags to tell you about. Did I say that this was written by Star Wing? I'm not sure if I did, but there's the name in case, just in case. A reprod must never return to its maker. Every reprod knows that GenCorp, a corrupt governmental corporation, kidnaps and kills in pursuit of genetic perfection. They created the reprods, genetically modified humans, then lost an entire generation when their cryopods failed. Now, GenCorp is determined to capture all the escapees, especially the ones like Jin, pink-haired and starfish enhanced. But Jin's not alone. With Tech and Tonic, she hides from Gencor, eking out a living in the Undercity, until the day Gencor seizes Tech and changes everything about the life Jin has come to love. This time, Jin and Tonic decide to challenge Gencor and reclaim their freedom. Together, they fight back, bringing their begrudging rebellion to the enemy's front door. Join the uprising. Up next, I have Of Courage and Sacrifice. This is written by Matt Hartle. This has 52 ratings with a 3.85 average. No additional genre tags to tell you about on this one. It says, fans of the Hunger Games series and Robopocalypse will love this book. So, Hunger Games, yes, never heard of Robopocalypse. Never heard of that. Let me know if you've read that. Never heard of it. The world is a deeply troubled place. Years of crippling unemployment, a collapsed economy, and rampant crime have left people feeling desperate. But Adam Wesley and his friends don't care about that. They finished classes for the final time and are looking forward to a carefree summer of parties, camping, and enjoying their first authentic tastes of freedom after high school. Fate has other plans for them. On their inaugural outing of summer, the friends encounter a reconnaissance robot, or bot as they are called, with disastrous results. When the friends finally make it back to the city, they find streets are overrun with bots. Martial law is in effect. People are being loaded into buses and taken to transition camps. Anyone caught in the open is pacified and detained. That does not sound good. Not all of them survive. Adam and his friends go underground, taking up with Skip, a brilliant but eccentric hacker. Skip has built a tech hideout called The Nest, a Faraday cage suspended in the maintenance tunnels beneath the city. Using antiquated technology, dial-up modems, and BBSs, the friends begin to organize. I remember the dial-up modem days. I remember those. Anyway, okay. Together, they will fight desperately to survive, unintentionally planting the seeds of a resistance that will become more important than any of them can imagine. Of Cinder and Bone. This is book number 1 in the Of Cinder and Bone series, written by Kyoko M. Like mighty, it's just an initial. This one has 289 ratings with a 4.07 average. As far as the series goes, it looks like it says there are 6 total works. So 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 books and then a book number 5.5, so a novella. Well, not necessarily a novella, but a book 5.5. So you've got 5 books and then 5.5. Okay. Genre tags, we have science fiction, dragons, romance, speculative. So there we go. Let's see if there's any more. Urban, male. So this is LGBT. It says MM romance. So we have some LGBT in this. All right. Let's see. Oh, see, here's another. It's similar to Of Fans Of, but this is like where this meets this particular author's writing. So Of Cinder and Bone is Ron Howard's Ransom, have not read, meets Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. I really enjoyed Jurassic Park, so I am intrigued. After centuries of being the most dangerous predators on the planet, dragons were hunted to extinction. That is, until Dr. Rhett Jackson and Dr. Kamala Anjali cracked the code to bring them back. Yeah, that's very much Jurassic Park vibes. Through their research at MIT, they resurrected the first dragon anyone has seen alive since the 15th century. Okay, so here's my question before I continue the synopsis on this. I would not want dragons to be alive today, especially like the raptors and all of them. If dragons existed, would that be something that you would want? Or would that be something that you would think would bring a lot of destruction, like if they brought back the Tyrannosaurus Rex in actual life? Let me know. There's just one problem. Someone stole it, so someone stole the dragon. Caught between two ruthless Yakuza clans who want to clone the dragon, Jack and Kamala brave the dragon's streets of Tokyo to steal the dragon back in a race against time before the world is taken over by mutated, bloodthirsty monsters that will raise it to ashes. So that's it. Okay. Well, that sounds good to me. Okay. Moving on, I have A Merry Life, Merry, so A Merry Life, written by Sarah Branson. This has 113 ratings with a 4.27 average. This is book number 1 in the Pirates of New Earth series. And it looks like there are 4 books in this series as of today when I'm filming this, which is the 17th of July, 2024. So, will there be additional books? I don't know. Who knows? Additional genre tags, we have post-apocalyptic and fantasy. Kat Wallace is on a mission. After escaping torturous enslavement, she sets her sights on ending the human trafficking that has flourished in 24th century Earth. Adopted by the leader of the pirate nation, Bosch, Kat Wallace is determined to prove herself as a member of the Bosch pirate force and use her skills to avenge her enslavement and free other thralls. But unexpected love and a test of loyalty threaten to rob her of what she wants, a home. ARC, written by Devon C. Ford. I see that and I immediately think ARC, Advanced Reader's Copy, but ARC. New Earth. This is book number 1 in the New Earth series. 1,000 ratings with a 4.17 average. We have apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, dystopia, and space opera for the additional genre tags. As far as the series goes, it looks like there are 3 books in the series thus far. They say that necessity is the mother of all inventions. Amir Weatherby has the world in his hands, quite literally. When his company discovers an asteroid on a direct collision course with Earth, they decide to keep the news quiet and find a way to survive the impending apocalypse themselves. Secret projects begin with the intent of preventing the world going the same way as the dinosaurs. 3 top-secret sites are developed, each designed to hold a small pocket of the human race safe until after impact. It just so happens that one of these sites is in space. The former ISS is transformed into a safe haven called the ARC, A-R-C, the Automated Resettlement and Repopulation Cryostation. When some of the world's greatest scientific minds will sleep, where some of the world's greatest scientific minds will sleep through the whole show. But events unfold in ways that couldn't have been predicted, and when they arrive back on Earth, there is a whole new disaster waiting for them. Okay, that sounds interesting. The Emperor's Aeronaut, written by Shelly, Adina, and R.E. Scott. This has 199 ratings with a 4.18 average. Steampunk, historical fiction, fantasy, romance, and mystery and regency are the additional genre tags. This is book number 1 in the Regent's Devices series, and it looks like there are 3.5. So there's 3 main books and then a 3.5. So take with that what you will. Napoleon is determined to conquer the world with his steam-powered weapons. Nothing in England can stop him, except 2 young lady inventors. In 1819, France is surrounded by armies, with Russia in the north and Karlsruhe Confederacy in the east, and a pirate kingdom in the south. Napoleon cannot break out, nor can the English navy seem to break in. Europe teeters on the edge of a sword. Whichever side rules the air will win. Celeste Blanchard, daughter of the Emperor's disgraced air minister, is running out of time to develop an airship that can carry his armies to England and restore her mother to glory. But on a daring and desperate test flight, she is blown off course and washes up, half drowned, on the shores of Cornwall, in the heart of enemy territory. Loveday Penhale, cosseted daughter of gentry, has her own inventions to build, even as pressure mounts to behave like a proper young lady and seek a husband instead of a design for a high-pressure steam engine. But when Arthur Trevelyan, heir to the neighboring estate, Gwen Place, asks for her help in rescuing an unconscious young woman on the beach, Loveday discovers an aeronaut and an inventor as skilled as she is. Between them, a friendship blossoms, and Loveday wonders if they might even pull off the impossible and invent an airship that will catch the eye of the tinkering Prince Regent, who has offered a prize to anyone who can help England break the impasse. Celeste's loyalties are torn in two. If she is caught working secretly for France, she will lose her friend, and the love of an honorable man, and her life. But if Napoleon learns she has betrayed him, she will be executed on sight. Can friendship prevail in the face of war? Or is there a third solution, one where everything hinges on the bravery of a daring and Cornish debutante and the Emperor's Aeronaut? I'm sure I'm not saying that right. Let's just move on. The Soul Monger. This is book number 1 in the Soul Monger series, written by Matilda Scotney. This has 72 ratings with a 4.28 average. There are no genre tags listed, but again, these are all sci-fi in this video. As far as the series goes, it looks like there are 3 books. So it looks like as of right now, it is a trilogy. It says, The Mighty Transcender, the gateway between their universe and ours, and what would ultimately become the link between our origins and our future selves. A tale of intergalactic slavery and war, of greed and intrigue, and the story of 6 people taken from Earth who crossed universes to save a galactic empire. The practice was ancient and profitable. For centuries, the Soulmongers crossed the mysterious Transcender portal that linked their universe to ours. Their mission, whole souls. Okay, this is giving me like slave trade vibes, except in space. So this will be interesting. The name they gave to humans, but it was only in the Soulmongers universe our remarkable potential could fully be realized. Only there did we learn just how truly unique we are, and how prized we would become as slaves. In time, an enlightened and benevolent league became the symbol of a new order, and many systems and worlds were drawn to a new awareness. Trade and commerce between the treaty planets flourished, and slavery was outlawed. With the Transcender sealed and denied their secret access to our world, the Soulmongers and their vile trade all died out. The legends of whole souls faded into history, until an unarmed enemy rose. Waging a fierce and merciless onslaught, the Peaceful League were powerless to withstand, unless they once more acquired the deadliest weapon known to their universe, us. And only the very last of the Soulmongers knew where we were. Okay, that sounds interesting. Next up, I have Revelations, written by Robert Storey. This is book number 1 in Ancient Origins series. This has 2,925 ratings with a 4.02 average. Thriller, dystopia, fantasy, and conspiracy theories are additional genre tags. Okay, it says, in the near future, Sarah Morgan, an English archaeologist, is in a race against time to prove the impossible, that an advanced human ancestor once populated the earth, but there are those that will kill to protect this most ancient of secrets. And when Sarah finally gets the proof she craves, it is cruelly wrenched from her grasp. But she never one to lie down, Sarah finds another path. A path that propels her into a quest that will span continents and change her life forever. That was a tongue twister. Another path, a path that propels. Okay. Moving on, it says, simultaneously, the world prepares for the arrival of 2011 AG5, an asteroid that will impact off the South African coastline with a force akin to the strike that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years previous. Humanity has long been planning for this colossal event, and many preparations have been made to counteract its after effects in order to preserve the ever-fragile global economy and civilization itself. As the world holds its collective breath, below the surface, government-run clandestine subterranean facilities are gearing up for the challenges ahead. These facilities are run by the gifted and ever-mercurial Professor Steiner, who has overseen a global program charged with the preservation of mankind. As the clock ticks towards the 0 hour, his schedule is on track. However, everything might not turn out as smoothly as he'd hoped. That is it. That sounds interesting. Okay. Let's see. I have Terra versus Luna. It says this is book number 1 in the Great War. I don't see a link that will take me to however many books are in this series, so I don't know how long this series is. Additional genre tags, there are none. So let's just move on. 7 ratings with a 4.57 average. When Mia was a child, they removed her arms and replaced them with titanium powerhouses. She would soon become a fully enhanced battle cyborg. 400 years into a brutal war between the Earth and Moon, Mia was given a special assignment. Go down to Terra. Find the last tree on Earth. Destroy it. Destroy hope. With her squad, she sets out on an adventure to the post-apocalyptic wastelands. She encounters Terran Marines, the victims of centuries-old genetic experiments, as well as factions of the Resistance and free-roaming militias. Okay, so that's all it says. It just is, this book takes you into the future. So, there we go. We'll leave it at that. All right. Dawn of the Courtezan, written by John Lee Grafton. This is book number 1 in the 18th Shadow series. This has 39 ratings with a 3.62 average. Fantasy is the only additional genre tag. As far as this series goes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, there are 3 books, and then there's like a box set. So it says there's 4 primary works, but one's a box set, which is a combination of all of them. So Dawn of the Courtezan is book number 1 out of, thus far, a trilogy. The Graphene Prairie, Lawrence, Kansas, 2082. The North American Union compromises all of Mexico, Canada, and the antique United States. Alcohol is banned, marijuana is mainstream, holograms fill our eyes, drones float above the city hub streets, and the office of the architect watches everything and everyone. Everyone, that is, except for a particular group of shiners, hand-picked outlaws protected by canine war cyborgs and a charismatic and mysterious telepath named Dexan Julius Abner. Mr. Abner has a purpose. The purpose is freedom. He and his shiners make America's black market vodka, and they are the only heroes left. Phase 1, Phase 01. Terradine has a gift. She used it to escape. The vile memory of the Behavioral Modification Hospital was only 15 kilometers behind in the cold January wind as her stolen 2079 Mustang flipped off the Hove Road floating 199 kph. Halfway through the first mid-air rotation, charges exploded along crumple junctions in the silver Hove car's roof, and the poly-aluminum cabin blew free. Ejected into the sky, away from the disintegrating Ford, Terradine's unconscious body was enveloped in an emergency collision sphere. Clear of the wreckage, her shrouded form bounced into a ditch and was immediately shrouded by the pack of waiting coyotes. The animals began to savage the sphere's elastiframe fabric with their dulled teeth. They had come for a reason. These were the coyotes of cyborg legend, the vanished products of Darkpool Laboratories, drawn at long last from the darkness by the unique set of her blood. Welcome to the Dawn of the Courtezan. Okay, that sounds interesting. The Rise of the Dominion, and it just says this is a Dominion. It's actually probably, I think, Dominion. Dominion, Dominion, not Dominion. I think it's Dominion. It says it's a Dominion War novel, so I'm guessing it's a series, but it doesn't give me a link to how long a series would be if it is part of a series. This was written by D.M. Marshall. It has 18 ratings with a 3.28 average. No additional genre tags to tell you about. It says, a desperate leader, an old and fearsome enemy unleashed. A new galactic war approaches. Richard Brahms, the ruler of the Dominion, seeks lasting peace with the Commonwealth, but is under attack by enemies unknown. The powerful Edo, who possesses mystical powers from the high, brings the astral plane, agrees to help Brahms. They are plunged into a conflict that threatens not just the Dominion, but the entire galaxy. Rachel Eisen, along with a hand-picked team of Edo, travel to the Dominion. Little do they know that Brahms is using them as bait to lure out his enemy. Other enemies lurk in the shadows, growing in strength. The Edo are mighty and noble, but few in number. They've sworn to protect the galaxy, but will this be their last stand? Okay, it does say this is a series. It says it's the first book of an exciting new science fantasy series, The Dominion War, but it does not say how long the series will be. So, so we'll just go with that. All right, we are on the last grouping, so the final 12 of this video. We have Oasis, which is book number 1 in The Last Humans, written by Dima Zales and Anna Zeres. 2,453 ratings with a 3.67 average. It looks like there are 3 books in this series. Apocalyptic, young adult, dystopia, fantasy, post-apocalyptic are the additional genre tags. My name is Theo, and I'm a resident of Oasis, the last habitable area on Earth. It's meant to be a paradise, a place where we all are all content. Vulgarity, violence, insanity, and other ills are but a distant memory, and even death no longer plagues us. I was once content too, but now I'm different. Now I hear a voice in my head, and she tells me things no imaginary friend should know. Her name is Foe, and she is my delusion. Or is she? It says, note, this book contains some strong language and that they felt was important for the censorship theme of the novel. If such words offend you, you might not enjoy this book. So, some vulgarity there, I guess. Okay, moving on, I have Kirietsu Heresy, written by A.R. McNevin. This has 6 ratings with a 3.67 average. No additional genre tags. And this is part of why I tell you things, because some of these are not getting out there. I have never heard of any of these books. So, I mean, obviously some of them do have an audience and they're getting out there, but most of these ones I say in these videos don't get out there and they just don't have an audience. Now, is it worth it? Who knows? I'll know when I read it. A leader leads by example, not by force. The year is 2183, and the world is the purview of the mega corporations, 8 monolithic, world-spanning companies hell-bent on winning whatever there is to be won. The battlefields are everywhere, and for everything, from city alleyways to the darkest jungles, from market share to bleeding-edge developments. Business is war. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. On this day, in the fall of 2183, the 8 are set to become 7, not due to loss or a defeat, but due to the unprecedented, a merger. The American-centric Omnitech and the Japanese Biodyne are about to make history and become Omnidyne. And yet, on this day, one of the most powerful men in Omnitech has vanished. Harrison Webb has disappeared. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war. Did he walk away from his personal security, or was he kidnapped? Is he lying in a ditch somewhere waiting to be found, or in the bed of a $10,000 or a 10,000 credit a night call girl? Not a supporter of the merger, could this be an 11th hour attempt to scuttle the deal before it goes through that night? A soldier from Omnitech and a spy from Biodyne are tasked with finding him, and one way or another, bringing him home. All warfare is based on deception. Infinite Dusk, written by Harmon Cooper. This is book number 1 in Cowboy Necromancer. Okay. I don't read a lot of Necromancer books. It intrigues me and I want to pick them up, but I just haven't. Let's see. Western, fantasy, and urban are the additional genre tags. The Before people killed their electricity, fast food, and pretty decorations. People now, survivors of the reset, have a much harder time just staying alive thanks in no small part to their memories being stripped away, and the skyscraper-sized floating alien monoliths known as Godwalkers that can show up at any time and destroy everything. Sterling Mondero is not your typical necromancer, even with the game system and Mancer class forced onto him by the Godwalkers. Okay. He just wants to farm his peppers in peace, a pepper farmer, and live out the rest of his troubled existence in quiet. He did that whole trying to get revenge on the Godwalkers thing 5 years ago and failed miserably. But when the Godwalkers show back up for their own bit of revenge and Kill Billy bandits appear trying to impose a pepper tax, the tough-as-bones loner decides enough is enough. It's time to reassemble the team, kick some much-needed ass, and put an end to the alien threat once and for all, or die trying. Inspired by The Dark Tower, Old Man Lagoon, and Red Dead Redemption. And I did forget to say where this is book 1 in the series. There are so there's 3 books, and there's a 3.1, a 3.2, a 3.3, a 3.4, and then a book 4. So there you go. Relic. This says it's a sci-fi adventure written by T.S. Falk. This has 1,483 ratings with a 4.24 average. Looks like this might be a standalone. It says for fans of Michael Crichton, A.G. Riddle, and James Rollins. Michael Crichton is the only one out of that grouping that I have read. Thriller and action are the additional genre tags. All Jordan Craver wanted to do was drift through Europe and decide what to do with his life. But when the American student surprisingly inherits a flat from an old professor he barely knew, he suddenly is hunted by assassins and caught up in an adventure that will lead him around the globe in a hunt for a relic that could alter human history or end it. It does confirm that this is, in fact, a standalone book, so that is good to know. So you're not committing to any sort of a series. Hayden's World. This one is volume 1, written by S.D. Falchetti. This has 58 ratings with a 4.26 average, and I think this is a collection of books. So this is an anthology. So let's see what this says, because in the Hayden's World, it says Hayden's World 1 through 5. So this is Hayden's World books 1 through 5. And there are, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Now where this is a omnibus, I think is the correct word, of the first 5 books of the series, I'm not going to read the synopsis of all 5 of the books. So I will read this little snippet of what the series is about. It's like 2 sentences. It says, survival tales in the skies of Uranus, desperate struggles at the solar system's edge, and near light speed interstellar expeditions. Adventure awaits in this hard science fiction bundle of 7 Hayden's World short reads. Okay, so I will tell you the title of these reads. We have 43 Seconds, Silver Side Up, Erebus, Signal Loss, Last Stand, Arrow 1, and Titan's Shadow. So I'm confused as to why it says 1 through 5, because that's like that's 7 books. So I'm a little confused by that, but I will find out more whenever it is that I eventually pick this one up and be able to give you more information. But right now, I'm just going to go with that, guessing there. Okay, and let's see. This next one is The Autumn Queen Protocol, written by Patrick Ashe. This has 31 ratings with a 4.48 average. And no additional genre tags to tell you about. It says, twin stories of terror for the pandemic era. Okay. After the outbreak of rampaging undead. I like a book with undead. Okay. Two heroes with intertwined destinies take on both infected and uninfected. In part one, humble middle-aged data scientist Mike Ballard and his cat Chloe are obligated to bring a haunted young girl to safety through highly infested lands. The danger is worse than they realize. In part two, elite soldier and transgender woman of color Cassandra Riven is compelled to take a mission into the heart of the infection and the web of lies around it. Cassandra and Mike each face twists of fate and the pressures of the modern world atop the mindless hordes bearing down on them. Do they have a chance? Can they save each other and the world? So, at least I don't know about the representation in book one, but in part two, we know we have transgender and black, and combined, so a black transgender individual. So, got some representation right out the gate there. Okay. This next one I have is Species 2. Obviously, there's going to be a Species 1, but I don't know. I don't see any links. Actually, let me click on this author's name. This is written by Nick Ayupa. This has 44 ratings with a 4.05 average. Let's see. Species. I don't even... Oh, more books by Nick. Here we go. Okay, Species 2. There's a whole... He's got quite a plethora. I'm looking for anything else that says... Okay, I can't keep scrolling. But I'm at the end of the list, and I don't even see a Species 1. So I'm not 100% positive on that situation. So let's just read the synopsis. There are no additional genre tags to tell you about. It says, the age of humanity is ending. When children with extraordinary new mental and physical abilities suddenly began appearing all over the world, a young university researcher must fight to protect them from hate groups who see them as a threat to human existence and want to exterminate them. That's all it says. Oh, so Species 2. Human species would be the first. Species 2 would be these advanced beings as far as powers and stuff like that. That makes sense. So I think it's a standalone. Descendant into the Void, written by Steve P. Vincent. This is book number 1 in the Frontier Saga series. It has 354 ratings with a 4.01 average. Again, please remember, I am filming this on July 17th of 2024. So there's a chance the average star rating and the amount of ratings will slightly vary whenever it is that if you decide to look it up on Goodreads, because I'm using Goodreads. So it could vary. There are no additional genre tags to tell you about. As far as the series goes, as of right now, this is the only one in the series. So it sounds like it will be a series, but that's all the information. This is like a brand new series. Sergeant Talon Stiller thought he'd been through hell. Then he got to St. Barker V, or St. Barker 5. I'm not quite sure on that. Stiller thought he was out, discharged from the Terran Union Marines with all 4 limbs and a gold watch, until a devastating attack by the hated alien Dioscuri drags him right back in again. In a flash, a war fought on the frontier of human-controlled space comes close to home, pushing humanity to the brink. Now responsible for the development of the Union's most secretive weapon system, Stiller and his ragtag crew of Marines have one chance to turn the tides of war. Their mission, rescue a stranded scientist who might have discovered the key to winning the war from an occupied planet deep behind enemy lines. And that's the easy bit. Alrighty. Teeth of the Rakasha, written by B.J. West. This has 17 ratings with a 4.18 average. No additional genre tags to tell you about. Revolutionaries, thieves, or terrorists. Depending on who you talk to, Spider King and his cohorts in the infamous Gordian net are either criminals or revolutionaries in the ongoing struggle against the corporations that have replaced the federal government of the formerly United States. Okay, so I am thinking that maybe apocalyptic, just from that description, should be one of the tags. Nobody pushes their notoriety as Robin Hoods. A Robin Hood retelling? Just from that name? I don't know. Let's see. Robin Hood's harder than Spider himself. Arrogant and egotistical, Spider is a veritable rock star of the hacking world. It would be annoying if he wasn't actually every bit as good as his talk. Attracted by the reputation, a peculiar client approaches the Gordon net with an opportunity that could be the score of a lifetime. But what first appears to be a simple hack and grab run quickly snowballs into an all-out war with the most powerful tech company in the world. Spider will have to outthink, outrun, and outmaneuver the most ruthless street operatives in San Francisco without becoming the next victim of a new weapon of unspeakable horror. Alrighty. Defender of Walls, written by Tanya Bird. This is book number 1 in the Kingdom of Walls series. This has 967 ratings with a 4.21 average. Additional genre tags, we have romance, fantasy, historical, dystopia, medieval, and dark. As far as the series goes, there are 3 books in this series thus far. It says, keep her inside, keep her alive. Blake Sutton has a stomach full of grief and no food. A decade of famine has taken its toll on the splintered kingdom, but it is the merchants who suffer most. A wall stands between the hungry and the food, and the kingdom's defenders stand guard atop it. Desperate times lead to desperate acts, and Blake will do whatever is necessary to ensure her family survives. But a growing attachment to a certain commander was never part of the plan. Now the man protecting the walls seems determined to guard her too. Commander Harlan Wright was raised on a diet of training and discipline. His mind is calloused and his heart closed. These are not faults in a defender, but assets. Harlan's path is clear until he meets a merchant girl who pulls him in a dangerous new direction. Blake might be a fighter, but she is fighting a losing battle. And the walls continue to go up. Harlan must choose between head and heart, duty and love. It says if you enjoy high emotion romance with plenty of action, then this dark star-crossed lover's tale is for you. So there you go. So I think where it has a description under Blake and a description under Harlan, I'm guessing it's going to be a dual POV book. Test of Magnitude, written by Andy Cash. This is book number 1 in the Tauren Reclamation book or series. 267 ratings with a 3.8 average. There are 3 books in this series thus far. All subject to change, who knows? Okay. No additional genre tags to tell you about. Revenge is only justice when it can be administered without hatred. The spectacular Cardinal 4 space station overlooks Amulin and Banner, twin worlds sharing the same orbit. It is the pinnacle of Tauren achievement and a wonder of the Erobian sphere, but not all foreign visitors are arriving with pure intent. A Tauren half-breed suspected of being the first prophet in 300 years warns of an evil infection in the galaxy. It comes in the form of a game. He also pushes the radical agenda of retrieving a primitive group of aliens from a planet outside the sphere known as Earth. Brandon Foss, an unhappily married Virginian, awakens to discover he has been kept in cryonic preservation on Amulin for 2 decades along with hundreds of others. Though humans are physically frail, Brandon's quick reflexes and ingenuity during a surprise interstellar attack result in the Earth abductees drawing attention from an additional Tauran military when planning their retaliation. So it looks like it says the beginning of a 39-year misadventure for Brandon Foss. Okay, so we'll see how many years the book covers. The last book in this video is called Earth Alone. This is book number 1 in the Earthrise series, written by Daniel Aronson. This has 4,825 ratings with a 3.88 average. Looks like there are 17, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 books in this series. The other 2 to make the 17 are omnibuses. So Omnibus 1 is books 1 through 3. And then it says the super box set omnibus is books 1 through 6. So there we go. So 15 books in the series. And additional genre tags, we have military, aliens, space opera, fantasy, horror, and war. Okay. And this synopsis is not all that long. It says, they came from deep space. They came to destroy us. 50 years ago, bloodthirsty aliens devastated the Earth. Most of humanity perished. We fell into darkness. But now we rise from the ashes. Now we fight back. Marco Emery was born into the war. After his mother is killed, he joins the Human Defense Force, Earth's ragtag army. Emery must survive basic training, become a soldier, and finally face the aliens in battle. Against the alien onslaught, Earth stands alone, but we will fight. We will rise. We will win. And that's it. Let me know, have you read any of these sci-fi books? Have you read from any of these authors? If you enjoy sci-fi, who is your favorite sci-fi author? And what is your favorite science fiction book? So, yeah, definitely let me know. I'd be interested in that. Or is sci-fi just not for you? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.